Martin Truex Jr. is a NASCAR champion, but there was a moment a few years ago when he came up about
that much.
About a foot short of hanging that Daytona 500 champion placard in his trophy room too. I just want to talk first about the vibe. Man, it feels awesome down here. It feels energetic. The people are on fire, ready to see you and the boys get at it. What is the Daytona 500?
Yeah, I mean, it's to your point, it's felt amazing here this week. I think just so many people here that, Sunday sold out. It's going to be an amazing crowd, and just feeling that energy is awesome. But that's what really this race is all about. It's kicking off our season. It's crazy to start start our season with the biggest race of the year, the first one. It's always been kind of odd to me, but Daytona is where this sport was born. This is the center of our world. This is the biggest race of the year, and just the excitement that we're feeling this week is incredible. I feel like it's been 2 years or so since we felt that, and things getting back to where they're supposed to be is awesome.
Agree.
What's your favorite story about this place, whether it involves you or not? Just the lore, the mystique about it.
Honestly, I was a big Earnhardt fan growing up, and just watching him dominate this racetrack and could not win the Daytona 500. So growing up, just watching year after year of the heartbreaks, he hits a bird on the back straightaway, gets a flat tire in the last lap, you name it, to finally see him win. That whole story was like my favorite thing about it.
This stat blew my mind, and you may know it, but I was floored. Since 2015, no Cup Series driver has led more laps than that man right there. All right. Only Kevin Harvick has won more races. Did you know that stat?
I did not. No.
Holy shit!
No, I knew it was. I was right there with the guys.
But. I knew you guys were on it. I knew that you guys were formidable, won a championship, doing great things. What has been your experience at Joe Gibbs Racing that has resulted in that?
Yeah, I mean, it's it started in 2015 at Furniture Row.
Yep.
With the group out there, and we transitioned into running Toyotas out there with the Gibbs Alliance, and now racing for Joe Gibbs Racing. Just this sport is all about people, and I've been fortunate enough to be with some great people, be with great teams, and I don't even know how to explain it, but once things start going well, it's easier to deal with all this. It's easier to do your job. It's easier to say, if you have a bad day, it's easier to walk away and say, that's all right, we're going to be fine next week. You're not living on every single race as being the end of the world,
Which you've done.
I've been in those situations.
In a big way.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just, my mindset, my perspective has changed as I've grown older. 2014, we all know that story with Sherry and what that's done for my psyche. And
there will be people watching this, listening to this, who don't know that story.
Well, I mean, my girlfriend Sherry, she's been battling cancer since 2014, but a diagnosis of ovarian cancer back then, and just floored us, and kind of just reminded me that, hey, I'm lucky to get to do this. This is a job. It's a great job, but you got to look at it the right way. You got to understand how blessed you are, how lucky you are to get to do this. And
Amen.
And if you have a bad day, hey man, quit your whining, stand up, brush yourself off, and get back to work. And that just kind of changed my whole attitude towards the sport and how I approached it. And the success has come along with that.
What has your experience with Sherry taught you about your philanthropic work? How did you make that first step? I spoke with a fan outside the ropes here that said you're her favorite driver for that reason. So do you have any idea of how those moves, how that work has paid off?
Yeah, we started our foundation long before Sherry had been diagnosed, and it was crazy that we got led down this avenue of wanting to help pediatric cancer and kids and their families, and just the impact that we felt like we were having there. And then all of a sudden, Sherry has cancer. It was a crazy story, but I think with all that and with the foundation, it's just made it more special to us. It's kind of made us understand what these people go through, and especially Sherry. Her passion is giving back and trying to help people with this disease while trying to fight it herself. It's unbelievably inspirational. But for me personally, it just hit closer to home, and I really understand the people that it affects and what it does to their life.
It's such a beautiful thing, and I'll tell you, one of the moments for me, I wrote a book a few years ago called Never Settle, and I did not put y'all's story in it yet because your story's not all the way written yet. And I'll never forget the opportunity to sit at my Homestead Miami Speedway in the hour after you won the championship, you and Sherry, and just like fellowshipping together, being emotional together, drinking a shitload of beers together because of everything that you have gone through, from the Michael Waltrip scenario and the Napa thing to Furniture Row to now being a champion and at the absolute pinnacle of the sport and an amazing ambassador for the sport. That was cool. And I will write that in a book someday.
That's awesome.
I will. So let's transition to hunting. One of your greatest passions is the outdoors, fishing, of course. What is your dream outdoors trip? Because at Outsider, that's what we're all about.
My dream is probably to go up to the Yukon and hunt moose with a bow and arrow.
Wow.
Bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Moose with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, that's literally on my bucket list. So, when I retire, it's going to happen.
Have you read up on what it takes to take down a moose with the bow and arrow?
Yeah, I mean, I have, and I've watched guys do it on TV, videos, et cetera, whatever.
That means you can do it, right? If you can see,
Yeah,
watch a guy do it on TV.
You learn a lot on YouTube.
That's just
Well,
like I could go win Daytona.
No, but I mean, I kind of know a little bit what it entails, and obviously it definitely looks hard, but I think it'd be a hell of a challenge. The only thing is the grizzly bears. I'm a little
dicey.
Yeah, it's a little dicey. So I mean, gonna have to have a big side piece on,
Bow and arrow versus a grizzly bear. I don't like your odds.
Yeah.
So
no.
what's the most exotic hunt you've been on?
Nothing crazy. Pretty much everything here in the States. I enjoy going out west hunting elk. I've taken, I think, 5 elk with a bow. So I've got a bit of experience with big game, but nothing really exotic like out of the country or no crazy wild, bucket list kind of trip.
You and Dale got big bucks in Ohio?
Yeah, we've got some big ones. We've killed a few of them, and we've got some running around right now. They've been running around all year. Nobody messing with them, so let them grow big.
Look out. Look out, guys. It's coming.
Talladega Nights or Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder. Yeah, a bit more realistic in my eyes. A bit. I said a bit.
A little.
A little bit.
A little?
A little bit.
The thing that I love about Talladega Nights, for me, it's not even – it's just bigger than a sports movie. It speaks to so many things about the culture around this sport, the culture of the people that love it, and I think just everything that it does with the fake advertising reads just gets me every time. But you do have a point that Days of Thunder is slightly more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me too, it was like it was a part of my growing up. Like I went to the theater with my dad to go see that. He was racing, I loved racing. It was a big deal for us. So it was a little bit different. But cool story about Talladega Nights. We went and seen a premiere of that when we were in Sonoma. I guess it might have been 05, 06.
05.
But didn't we go to L.A. to see it?
I didn't, but we were out in Sonoma, and George Lucas had a showing of it at his theater, like on his ranch,
Wow.
his compound, and a bunch of us from DEI went and seen it there, which was pretty cool.
George Lucas and Talladega Nights. That's a combo.
I went to the premiere. I covered the Talladega Nights premiere for NASCAR.com way back when I was with them, and I had on this horrible, like creamsicle, orange, sky blue, brown, like striped button-down shirt, and Will Ferrell came down the red carpet, and he goes, "It's a really nice shirt, man." And he had on a Crystal Gale 1984 World Tour T-shirt. I said, "Yeah, you win." So again, there's no easy transitions on this, but this is the 21st anniversary of Dale dying. Here at Daytona. You're one of Junior's best friends. You know him as well as anybody. You were with him in, at Chance 2, like in the real close years after that happened. So you saw firsthand what he carried. How do you describe what he carried on behalf of the sport in the aftermath of his dad dying?
Just a lot of everything. I think a lot of pressure, and I think it affected his racing. To some extent, but I think at the end of the day, he still loved to race. He loved racing. It was just all the outside stuff. I think once he got in the car, he was his happiest. And outside the car, he just was always pulled in 100 directions. And I think, that had to be tough to deal with. I feel like he dealt with it really well.
Amazingly well.
Because, I mean, I never really seen him complain about it, or, it's not like he lived, in a hole in the ground. I mean, we went out and had fun and did stuff, and he was always, doing fun stuff. So I think he did a hell of a job with it. I can't imagine the pressure he felt, and maybe how much was hiding in there.
I can't imagine it either. And I mean, I've said it even on this podcast before. He saved the sport because everybody looked at him. Are we going to race or not?
Yeah.
Is it okay to move forward or not? And he raced. And so, in my estimation, that's why we're sitting here.
Yeah, I mean, I just know I watched it all on TV back then. It was
Yep.
a couple years before I got involved. But, even when I got there at DEI in 03
Yep.
to run the Busch car some, it was like it was still Dale Earnhardt's place. Like everybody there always talked about Dale, and they always had that pride of working there because of Dale. And that went on for, a couple more years, which was amazing. So cool to be a part of that and hear all the stories of guys that have been there for 10 years or whatnot. So very lucky that part of my career I got to see a lot of different things like that.
So, what do you think we're going to see Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be typical Daytona 500.
Lot of wrecking.
Yeah, I mean, these days everybody puts it on the floor and they try to fit it in a hole that isn't there, and there's no telling. I mean, we could have a big crash on lap 10, or it could be not till lap 120. I don't know. You just never know these days. It's really hard to tell throughout the week how the start of the races are going to go at this place, and there's nowhere safe, that's for sure.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Love your spirit. I appreciate your friendship.
Yeah, man.
I said before you sat down, old Martin Truex Jr.'s turned into a silver fox, just like me.
He did say that.
So have I.
Experience, brother.
But we earned them.
Earned it.
You and me earned these gray hairs. Thank you, brother.
Damn right. Thank you, man. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for having me on.